Hi, everyone. This is Gretchen Bogle. Thank you for coming to play with my mind, my ideas today. This is a really important video on creating reality. It is how what we desire, what we focus our will on, and through that focus, it directs planetary potential to make that become real in our life. But there are three ways that it happens. Okay. Going to have to get a whiteboard pretty soon, but let's just use the green circle represents planetary potential, even though it's to and through everything. It's not a circle around us, but it is, for the purpose of explanation, the only way I could do it. And of course, the little figure is us. Now I'm going to use two little crystals. One is the item or the event or the condition or the situation we're trying to intersect with. And then I have a little quartz crystal to symbolize the willpower. I don't even know if you can kind of see it here, but this represents the focus of will to manifest. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is inventors who may see something in the future potential of humanity and want to bring that into their current reality. And I'm going to use the example of a car for this. Before there were automobiles, there were carriages, and then horseless carriages when engines in the Industrial Revolution became more accessible. So the idea of a horseless carriage or a car existed out in potential. So here's Henry Ford thinking about it, and I'm going to use the little quartz crystal near his mind. I mean, maybe he used other chakras to focus the energy, but I'm going to use mind. And of course, this applies to music that didn't exist. Well, it does exist somewhere, but we're pulling it into our reality. Painters, scientists, any inventor is reading the Akashic record, which is the planetary potential for all that's going to exist in our planet's evolution. It's already there. And they're pulling it into reality from potential. So the focus of will, the desire, the idea forms a momentum. And that momentum connects with the momentum of potential. So here's the idea of a car, and here's Henry Ford thinking about a horseless carriage. And he draws, let me see if I can do this way. He draws the potential from, and again, it's a flow. I don't know if I can really show you this, but he causes a flow of the idea of a car to come into his own mind so he can invent it. And then, of course, he carried on the actions that were necessary to manifest this. Now, this doesn't mean that any one idea that is in potential only has one person who can express it. You know, people will be pulling from the Earth's potential combined with our willpower, our focus. I mean, it wasn't just one shot. Let me put it that way. If he hadn't invented the car, I'm sure somebody else would have seen it, right? Okay. Now, the other way that things become reality for us is, say, things already exist. They don't have to be invented. All right. So we're going to use the analogy of a car again, because my neighbors engine in one of their older cars just blew up. And he's very specific. He wants a Toyota Corolla for his wife to commute to work with. And we all know that cars are pretty scarce right now in March of 2022. And so the Toyota Corolla exists. It exists in potential. This is symbolizing the Toyota Corolla. I'm sorry, I can't get it to really show. Working on that. Thanks for your patience. And so the Toyota Corolla already exists. Okay. So he's going to merge his focus of will to something that already exists. Now, we don't know when they're going to intersect, but I have no doubt. I mean, we're all asking everybody if they know anybody who has an old Corolla. So say, for example, that there was a Toyota Corolla up in somebody's driveway, and we just assumed they were driving it. I mean, you don't knock on everybody's door and saying, hey, you got a used car you want to sell? And I don't know when the intersection or how the intersection is going to occur. But at some point, this already existing condition that he desires, he's going to intersect with it. The opportunity to purchase an older Corolla that he can work on because he's a mechanic. Now, I have to laugh at the car analogy because my husband wanted a very, very specific Miata. And when he was undergoing cancer treatments, he was having to drive for an hour, 45 minutes, 5 days a week for 40 radiation sessions. Okay, so that's a lot of driving. And I said to him, why don't you get a fun car to do this with? Afterwards, you can always sell it if you don't want it. And he said, well, I've always wanted a Miata, but it has to be a retractable hardtop. It has to be, it's a specific year. It's like a 2008. Okay. So he's looking online. And a little voice came to him one day. This is true in his intuition, because he had not looked on, I guess there are car finder sites like pet finder sites, and he hadn't looked at this other, and a little voice said, why don't you look at that one? There was the exact car that he wanted 45 minutes away from us. And it was owned by a doctor. It only had 12,000 miles on it. It was incredibly loaded, and it looks absolutely brand new. And she's adorable. I've never actually had any affection for a car, but she really is adorable. So that was my husband putting that into, using his focus of will, putting that into his desire, and then intersecting with an already existing vehicle. So Black Tara is her name. It's on her license plate. If you see him drive by, wave. Okay. The third way we connect with what we want in our life is it's already in our present reality, and we don't acknowledge it yet. Okay. So I think the car analogy isn't really going to work for this anymore. So we'll get rid of the car. But you all know that I got a Siamese kitten recently. She's on my lap right now because it's kind of chilly up here. It's snowing out. And so we're just going to use the quartz crystal in my heart chakra. So I'm going to use myself as an example for this. Okay. A friend of mine from high school, and I'm old as dirt, so, this goes way back, is a Facebook friend. And she posted a litter of kittens. And the first litter of kittens, Siamese, because I've had Siamese before. And we have a Siamese rescue right now. Um, at the first litter, I was able to go, no, no, don't do it. It'll complicate your life. Well, the second litter, it's like, oh man, couldn't. And I don't even know, I didn't really want a female Siamese, but the females and the males are very different. I wanted to get a friend for Simon. He has a lot of fear still. We've had him for 5 years. And in certain situations, somebody must have kicked him in doorways because he hisses, he shows fear. It is so sad. Anyway, so I thought, well, maybe the kitten is a good idea for Simon, right? Justify. So, I worried that I was making a mistake because I have a lot of work to do on many, many different levels. And I thought, how am I going to manage one more animal in the house with us? So I had a lot of, so she came and she was a little cray cray because she wasn't weaned. She missed her home. Everything was new here. Of course, this was a trauma for her. And no matter how much we loved her, she had a lot of emotion to work out. And so at first I thought, oh man, I really did make a mistake. And I have to admit my pendulum said this was not a good idea. And that really spooks me because I really count on my trusty pendulum. Anyway, so the kitten is with me. All right. The kitten is with us. The kitten is in our house. So we're gonna put the kitten. Actually, she was on my lap. I could just hold her up. So the kitten's already here, right? And I had to decide. I had to do almost a mantra. She's going to be a beautiful cat woman. She is going to settle in. She is going to be fine with the dogs. The dogs are going to be fine with her. My husband's not going to be too annoyed because I'm sleeping upstairs because I can't. She's very busy at night. The two kitties play a lot. It's better if I'm up here because at least then the dogs and my husband get to sleep, right? There were a lot of adjustments. I now have like 4 kitty boxes in my house, which is not how I like to have my house. But when I started to acknowledge that this was going to work out, she's going to be fine. We're going to all have a beautiful life together. She was already there, but I changed the reality of my fear that this was a mistake into the reality of love, that this is gonna be fine. And moment to moment, we always, if you just reflect, if you're doing something out of fear or love, you can always tell. It's a fun question to ask yourself all the time. Anyway, so now what is in our reality is a really wonderful little cat friend for both Simon and the rest of us. And the dogs aren't even as afraid of, see, Simon has been very aggressive with the dogs. And so they were afraid of the kitten too, but it's getting better. So acknowledgement that what you desire is already there with you. And that's what gratitude's about. I can say, oh, I'm so grateful for this little loving purring thing under the covers with me, even though she keeps me awake. But gratitude is acknowledging that what you wanted was already in your reality. And if you have just a little bit of a change of focus about it, we have the choice to create even within the circumstances that exist all around us. So those are the 3 ways that reality is created or becomes part of our reality. So I hope this made sense. And please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. The website, How Spirit Works. My email is in my descriptor box below. So I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. And we'll see each other again soon. Thank you so much.